Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm giving you some updates. Okay, my camera died, my battery died. Let me just focus. I'm answering your questions today about the first 6 months of living in my own home and what it's like to be a homeowner, especially in Boston. This is my first ever Q&A. It makes me feel like a real YouTuber. Am I a real YouTuber now? I feel like you're not a real YouTuber until you do a Q&A. Is that true? I don't know. It has been 6 months since I bought my first home. So I'm coming to you guys live from my very unfinished backyard, but as you can see, it's coming along. She's coming along. I have a few things out here. So anyway, I put all your questions in a mason jar, so I'm gonna just pick them out in a random order and answer. Oop. Contractors, men don't listen to women unless there is another man around, and buying by yourself and trying to tell people what your vision is, you know, you have the vision, but they don't care about your timeline. They take forever and they make a mess. I'm sorry, men make a mess. When contractors are in your house, they like leave stuff everywhere. They're using your bathroom, like drinking beer. You know, they're loud and they take forever to do what you need them to do, or at least that was my experience. And the next time I do this, I'm definitely doing it differently, and someone's gonna have to be here to like give that presence, because unfortunately male presence is just respected even if they don't know what they're talking about. So I'd recommend that to anybody doing any renovation. You can lead it and do it on your own and kind of facilitate it, but like have like a male presence, because whether it's your brother or somebody that you're with romantically, men respect other men, and if they don't respect them, they're at least intimidated by them. And they didn't respect me, and they took forever to do the bare minimum, and that was just horrible. The second challenge, I would say, I guess feeling rushed. People want to come over, people want to see your place, people want to be nosy, judge your place, and I guess balancing the timing of allowing people in with progress on getting things together is a challenge. Managing people's opinions and expectations is a challenge. Deciding who should come into this next chapter of your life with you is part of that. I guess that's more than 2 challenges, but they're all wrapped up into one for me, because they say that the biggest times that you see people's true colors are when you have a baby or when you get married, but I think home ownership should be added to that list, and that's been a challenge for me. Because you're familiar with the process now, do you think you'll look into being an agent? Honestly, that's a good possibility. I never thought about it until I got this question. I know that I would make a really good agent. I know that I would be a lot more diligent than most agents. I ended up having 2 different agents, and I think that being an agent is probably harder than it looks. And I also think, you know, it's one of those things that you get better at as you do it, but I think that there are certain qualities that a good agent just has that I know that I have. And a lot of people play around with people's lives when it comes to buying a home. You know, they're not diligent, they're not actually invested in your process, making sure that you're picking out a place that works for you, making sure that you're not getting ripped off. Some people are in it for the money, some people are in it for the commission. How realistic is it that I would become a real estate agent? I don't know, honestly. Who knows what's in store, right? So I would say that I'm open to the possibility, but I never thought about it. I know that I would make a good one though. So if this question is because you want to hire me or something, then we can talk. Do you plan on purchasing more properties in the future? Yes. So I never went into this process with trying to find like a forever home by any means. This is definitely where I'm starting, and I don't know where I'm heading, but I would like to think that the next place I purchase would be in another state. Who knows? I have no clue. A year ago I wasn't planning on buying a home. It's May now, and a year ago was May. A year ago I was almost gonna sign a lease, and then I changed my mind after talking to some family members, because the rent that I was gonna pay was equal to what I pay for my mortgage. And that's not to say it's not expensive, but the benefits are just way greater, for me at least. I don't plan on becoming someone who has like all these different investment properties. I do plan on renting this one out before I sell it and living somewhere else while I still own this one for whatever period of time. I don't know how long that's gonna be. But yeah, like I said, a year ago I wasn't planning on purchasing my first home, so I can't even say that anything's off the table. I probably will buy more properties, maybe not by myself, but I'm happy that I got the first one when I did. So I hope that answers that question. My goodness, the sun is setting, my battery's dying, so I need to wrap up. But such a good question. I think this is one of my favorite questions that I got. I would say that if that is your priority, you can, I don't want to say avoid the anxiety, because obviously it's something I think about. You're already thinking about the fact that you want to sell it, so look at the value of the home long term and not just about how it makes you feel in the moment. How it makes other people feel or how you think people will feel about it is important. Like, you can't do anything about the market, but at the end of the day, you can do something about picking something that looks sustainable, a neighborhood, amenities, and also updating your home. I think reselling, the issue with it is people don't update their home, and then financial troubles happen, or you just want to pack up and go and your house isn't modern and people don't want it because it's outdated. So like, if you're like me and that's important to you, watch a lot of Hgtv and you'll know what all the trends are, and then you can like incorporate them and put your own little style, but at least you'll be like in the current year and not 10, 20 years behind the industry. So yeah, you gotta get on your... But yes, as I was saying, there are a couple shows I like. Unsellable Houses is a really good one, where designers take a home that's been on the market and help them renovate a home so that it's sellable. But a lot of it is just cosmetic, believe it or not. Like, as long as your foundation is good, your you know, the structure of the home is good, you will be able to sell it if you keep it up to date and you keep it looking nice, and you like don't go crazy with things that other people are just not gonna like if they saw your house in an open house. Also, don't waive the inspection. Never waive the inspection, because that's something that can make your house hard to sell. If you decide to waive the inspection to appease the person trying to sell the home, and then you get the home and there's like the roof is leaking, or just, I don't know, things that people would never buy. Because you didn't get it inspected, you don't know what's wrong with the home, and that could make it hard to sell. So never waive the inspection. Keep up with your Hgtv and watch my YouTube channel, of course. How many people are in my business? You hire 5 people, I think it's 5. Your agent, your inspector, your lawyer, you know, you have the seller's agent, there's a seller involved, their family, your family, the bank. But then there's like other people at the bank that you never meet, and they have all your paperwork and they're deciding like if you're qualified and capable, and you're like, who are you, ma'am? Like, I don't even know who you are. And that sucks. So it's surprising. It was surprising how much was out of my control. They make it seem like buying a home has to do with you and your effort and your stability and your money and your credit and your hustle and your grind. And it kind of painted as if the real estate agent does all the work, but in reality they kind of hand you off to the next people, and they could be great and then everybody else could suck after them. And I think the bank really is the biggest part. Like, forget the agent, the bank. If the bank is a mess, the whole thing's gonna drag. In my case, I had down payment assistance, so there were an additional like 5 people involved with getting more money for me to the bank. So they had to sign off on certain things to send to the bank, and then the bank ultimately made the decision, and then they send it to the lawyer, and then you sign the documents. And then your lawyer might have staff, paralegal, assistant. There are so many people involved that you directly work with and indirectly are just all up in your business. They're all up in your business. And that is daunting, especially to go through a loan. You know, you're being scrutinized. And, you know, I knew that going in, but I didn't know it was going to be that many people. I thought it was going to just be a few people who had their eyes on my life and really there were a lot of people that were looking into my life deeply, down to people who are verifying your employment. Somebody from HR that you've never met might get a phone call about you and where you work, and they're supposed to fill out a form saying how likely it is that you'll be employed by them, you know, how stable your job looks, and they don't even know your work ethic. Like, yeah, they might see that you've been a teacher for 2-3 years, or you're working at the bank for 2-3 years, but how do they know, especially in a pandemic, whether or not you're likely to still have that job to pay your bills? So yeah, way too many people up in your business, too many people up in the Kool-Aid, don't know the flavor, too many people dragging their feet. Overall, to sum this up, the biggest surprise is how much is out of your control. And that's probably just life. In this process, it's like out of your hands, into the hands of, honestly, just a lot of white people who may not even be homeowners. I'm trying to make sure this is in focus. I keep going out of focus and it's gonna drive me nuts. All right, next question. Yes, 6 months in, maybe I'm not qualified to say this because there are challenges that will come down the road in my life that may affect, you know, my home. But I think that I've been through some challenges at my age that some people haven't experienced in a lifetime. And I think everything I've been through has been worth it. So I'm gonna say, yes, it's worth it. Also, like, my mama didn't raise no fool. So I'm new to home ownership for myself, but I'm not new to it as a concept. I already was raised with this being a priority. So yeah, it's worth it. But you have to do it right. So, you know, be diligent. If you could, would you have bought at a younger age, older age, or do you think this was a perfect time? This is the perfect time. Everything happens in divine timing. You know, it wasn't supposed to happen earlier. I wasn't interested in it happening earlier. I was actually looking at apartments in April of 2020, May of 2020. There was an apartment I really liked, but it didn't have a washer and dryer, and the rent was so expensive for something that didn't have laundry. So talked it over with family, and it was just kind of like, you could buy something for that price. And it's like, oh, okay. And then I took the home buyer class in June. By July, I was looking. By July, I was under contract. And it was smooth sailing from there. Psych! No, it was horrible. I got delayed 1,000,000 times, and I almost gave up. But I was in the game. I was in the game just a month or two after deciding to look. And I think the pandemic really fueled that because the interest rates were really low. So it was the perfect time for me for many reasons. But honestly, the convenience is what I wanted as a young homeowner. You know, I don't have to do gutters and shutters, sheds, those type of things on the outside of the property. You don't worry about because you own the inside of it. So that's great, especially as a woman, you know, who is not into that just yet. So I recommend it, especially if you're young. If you're a little bit older, maybe not, but if you're young, I recommend it. I like owning a condo. It was perfect for me, and again, I know that I want to like go travel and live in other places, so I'll be able to rent it out and not worry too much. Plus, you have a community. I'm not the closest with people yet because of the coronavirus, but it's less scary when you can kind of hear people around you. You're not like out by yourself. Thank you guys so much for these questions. I really enjoyed answering them. So I'm most likely going to get some ice cream and watch Hgtv, and you should do the same if you're thinking about home ownership. You'll get really inspired, just like I get inspired whenever I'm like, this is overwhelming. Then I'm like, actually no, this is doable. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a comment below. Don't text me about how great this video is. Leave the comment below. If you're not logged in, log on to your Google account and leave me a comment and click subscribe, and I will catch you on the next one. Talk to you guys later. Peace.